Welcome to Tech Tools for Test Success, your video tutorial guide to mastering every trick and technique in taking an online state test. This is the fourth tutorial in our series, General Tools for Math. What are we doing today? Well, this tutorial will help us learn how to use the basic tools necessary to succeeding on the math test, be that in junior high or high school. As we work, feel free to explore the online tools used in the video. Pause the playback whenever you want to apply any of the tools I discuss. Remember that this only works if you do. Begin by signing into parc.pearson.com. That is parc, P-A-R-C-C.pearson.com. This site holds the tutorial software we will use to master today's tools. When you log into parc.pearson.com, you'll see this. In the window, find Test Preparation. Click on that and pull the drop-down menu to Tutorials. In this window, you'll click on View Test Nav 8 Tutorial. Yes, this is a Math Level 8 tutorial. However, the general tools, as I mentioned, apply to both junior high and high school. Click on the tutorial. Click Start Test Now, and then Start Section. This tutorial contains a wealth of information about succeeding on both English and math tests. However, we will only use it for the basic math tools today. So, move to the review. Scroll down until you see question number 1, and click on the instruction screen just above that. This instruction screen helps you understand how to use the ruler and the protractor in an online test. The ruler and protractor tools can be used to measure images and angles that are on the screen. All you need to do to use the protractor or ruler is click on the button here in the menu at the top of the screen. The protractor will appear, and anywhere on the protractor you can click and drag it. Clicking on the circles will help you angle the protractor so that you can measure an angle appropriately. The same is true for the rulers. You can access a centimeter ruler or a quarter-inch ruler. And when you access those rulers, clicking on the blue space will drag it. Notice that the ruler is slightly clear. That will allow you to see below, which is helpful when you are measuring objects. Again, clicking on the circles will allow you to angle the ruler as you wish. If you move to the next screen, you can practice with this. Try clicking on a ruler. Try moving it. Match the angle of the line that you're trying to measure. Move the 0 to the beginning of the line segment. You'll find that this line measures approximately 3.5 inches. We could also use the protractor to try to measure the angle. Now, this may not work for you because you want to be precise. Remember that you can magnify by holding down the Control key and pressing plus. Magnifying will allow you to use the protractor more efficiently. You can measure that the angle here is approximately 26 degrees. The ruler and the protractor are fairly easy to master if you practice. You may wish to do so now. Once you've finished, let's move on. The next tool for general math tests is the calculator. You'll see at the top a 5-function calculator on this tutorial. Other tutorials may discuss other types of calculators, scientific calculators, and so on, but let's take a look at the mere 5-function calculator. Clicking on the button pulls the calculator up to the screen. You can close by clicking on the Close button. You can use the calculator by using the mouse to click on any of the buttons. Use it to calculate. You may also, if you wish, use the keys on the keypad. Keys on the keypad can be used, like numbers, plus signs, equal signs, and so on. If you don't see a key on the keypad, of course you must use it on the calculator itself, like the division key. The 5-function calculator is fairly simple to use, but remember that you will not use it to enter your answers. Go to the next slide. You may pull up the calculator to calculate 18 plus 22. I answer 40. However, I have not yet answered the item until I use the pointer to click on A, 40. At this point, I have answered the item. Remember that the calculator is only used for calculation, not for entering answers. Let's close the calculator and go back to the review so we can access the next tool. Find question 9. Click on the View button. Question 9 will help us understand how to use the fraction model. The fraction model will allow you to create fractions of an area, such as this circle that you see in front of you. Take a look at the circle. Right now it is blank, and you see 3 buttons: Fewer, More, and Reset. Fewer and Reset are grayed out, meaning you cannot use them at this time. If you click More, a section appears, dividing the whole into a half. If you click again, that is divided into 1/3. Clicking again divides into quarters, and fifths, and sixths, and so on. Fewer will take that 6th division down to a 5th, and down to a quarter. Reset will take you back down to 0. When you have selected the division that you wish, you can click in any area to shade it. If, for instance, you must demonstrate that the answer is 2/3, you can demonstrate that with the fraction model in this way. Let's move to the next tool, the drop-down inline choice. You're probably familiar with drop-down menus. You'll find them on most Internet interactivity. However, the drop-down inline choice for mathematics requires you to critically think. I know that I have 3 blanks to equal 15. My middle blank is an operator. My first is a number. My last is a number. So, let's say I want to generate 15. Plus 13 equals 15. However, I don't see a 13. Okay, how about 2 times, 7.5, I guess, but that's not here either. How about 3 times 5 equals 15? And I've answered correctly. When you drop down from the inline choice, you are trying to create equations or solve to make true statements. Let's move to one last item. Go to question 11. Question 11 will help you understand how to use a graph. Graphs are fairly simple to use. Take a look at the table on the left. On the left, you can see information about time related to experiment results. At time 1, experiment resulted in 20. If I move to the graph, I look at 1, I move up to 20, I can place a point. At time 2, 40. At time 3, 60. At time 4, 70. At time 5, 90. And at time 6, 80. Clicking each point will create my line. If I do not want that point, I click on it and it goes away. It is fairly simple to add and remove points in a line. Now that we've gone through the protractor, ruler, calculator, fraction model, drop-down inline choice, and graph, we should take a look at the equation editor. Let's look at the equation editor by going back to the PARCC Tutorials website. On the same page where we found the TestNav 8 tutorial, we can find the equation editor. Let's click on Practice with the Equation Editor. Let's see grades 6 through 8 equation editor sample items. Math tests offer 2 equation editors. First, there is the basic equation editor. This basic equation editor allows you only to type numbers. You'll see a blank spot like this and a square. Clicking into the square brings up a number of different options. Clicking on this blue square expands the number of options. Clicking on it again restricts the number of options. So, if I have all of these options, I can write an equation. Once I've written 4, if I wish to write 5, in a different place, then I can't simply type it. I must enter an operator. 4 times 5, and then equals 20. I can type on the keyboard and type here on the actual screen. You will need to do that mix in order to properly use the equation editor. You'll see some more advanced functions, such as fractions, mixed numbers, and so on. Let's take a look at fractions for a moment. If I click on fraction, I'll see 2 blanks. Let's say I want to type 4/5. I type a 4 and then a 5. Well, I didn't want 45 in my numerator, so I'll delete the 5. If I type tab, that takes me to the next blank, and I can type a 5 there. If I type plus without tabbing out, the plus will appear in the denominator section, which is not what I wanted. So I'll backspace. I type tab and click over to the side. Type the plus, and now the plus is in the proper position. I'll add it to a mixed number. 1, tab, 1, tab, 5. Click out. Equals 2. The equation editor is fairly simple to use, and you will find some advanced mathematical operations. Absolute value, greater than or less than, pi even. Practice with it to master the basic equation editor. Let's move on now to the open response equation editor. This mixes words and mathematical symbols. I can type sentences into the open response equation editor. I've typed regular sentences. Of course, I'll keep this as a numeral. Now I can write an equation. My equation would be 3 plus x equals 10. I can solve by subtracting 3 from both sides. I am left with this. X equals 7. I now know that I have 7 pairs. The open response equation editor will mix language with mathematical equations, numerals, and other operators. Here on the right, you can see basic math symbols, relational symbols, and geometry symbols. You will know how to use these and may wish to practice them under the guidance of your math teacher. Once you've mastered this equation editor, you've mastered both the basic and open response, and you're ready for a number of different types of calculations on the new Ohio State test. And of course, once you've practiced and mastered this, as well as the other tools discussed in today's tutorial, you are prepared for success. Good luck.